Hello and welcome back to Coffee Infused Crypto. Uh, Today we're going back to our on-chain episodes, on-chain series with the third indicator. We're gonna deep dive into that. And yeah, so grab your cups of coffee. Let's deep dive into on-chain. So we're on the 28th out of the 100 on the Bitcoin Bull Run Index by CoinTox Crypto CBBI Index. So after discussing Bicycle Top Indicator and Nupal or the Rupal, we're gonna deep dive into the RHODL ratio. So this is one of the lowest indicators between the 9, and we're gonna take toggle off all indicators and just add the RHODL ratio. So if you see, definitely we're at the very low on the RHODL ratio, and it's giving us a 7 on the CBBI. So we're gonna deep dive into the, well, actually it's at 0 here, and it's yeah, it did reset. So what is the RHODL ratio, and how to look at it? How does it help us? So we'll get back into the, of course, it's an equation. But let's check what does the RHODL ratio do. So the RHODL ratio is useful for identifying when Bitcoin price is running at the extremes of the market conditions. So it identifies the extreme lows and the extreme highs. It is able to forecast where Bitcoin price may need to pull back when the RHODL ratio line approaches the upper red band, and also when BTC price may rally after spending time in the lower green band. It does this on high time frames, so it's a valuable tool for long-term Bitcoin investors. So just like the RSI, when we have the oversold and the overbought territories, this also relies on the oversold and overbought, and it's mainly towards or it tackles the greed of the investors. And how does this how does it do it? We're gonna jump in on it. So before again going into the ratio or the equation, this would be the chart, and this is the oversold territory, and this would be the overbought territory or the hot area. So in black we have the Bitcoin price, and the ratio is in orange, moving in waves between the oversold and the overbought. So when this peaks, we are overheated and usually tend to have a peak in Bitcoin price. And when this is in the green zone, usually it indicates the bottom of a Bitcoin cycle, as you can see here, and definitely we had it here as well, a bit, yeah, a bit late. That was the early days, so peaked at the peak of this move, and then yeah, bottomed here and then continued down. So it got more accurate. It identified or triggered the peak at 2014, and then the bottom of 2015, and then the top again, very accurate on the 2018, and yeah, the bottom here, yeah, it was very close on the 2017 area. Then the peak here, we didn't even hit the red or the sold or overbought territories, but at the bottom here we did a good job in, you know, yeah, going into the green zone and reverse from there, and currently we are up. So how does this indicator work? So the RHODL ratio is the realized RHODL 1 week over RHODL 1 between 1 to 2 years times total market age. So don't let it complicate you. We're again deep diving into this and explaining it to the very detailed explanation. So the realized value is the price of the coin when they were last moved from a wallet to another. So again, here we are tackling the last moved price of a coin, not the current market value of a coin, which again, we discussed this in the earlier, the Nupel. If you didn't watch that one, go back. I'm gonna link it here. So watch everything on this playlist. It's gonna be helpful for you. So here as well, we focus on the last moved price. Okay, so the RHODL ratio looks at the ratio between RHODL band of 1 week versus RHODL band of 1 to 2 years. So we have two types or two bands. So it splits up the recently moved coins 1 week ago, which means if you want to take it into consideration as in the new investors in Bitcoin, people who moved coins 1 week ago versus those who haven't moved their coins 1 to 2 years back. So it measures the ratio between newborn or new people or new moved coins last moved realized price over the band where people between 1 to 2 years who haven't touched their coins and they had been there in their wallet. So when the 1 week value is significantly higher than the 1 to 2 years, this is a signal that the market is becoming overheated. So so let's go back to this. So remember, this is the RHODL 1 week over the 1 to 2, the between 1 and 2 years. So as the price increases on Bitcoin, the 1 week value increases and is divided over the lower price of 1 to 2 years. So as the recent value, as we go up here, for example, or up here, for example, so the newly moved coins 1 week ago, people who bought around this area, and is divided to the past 1 to 2 years, which was around this bottom area, that pushed the RHODL ratio into a tempting prices. So as the price increases, as the 1 week value increases in ratio to 1 to 2 years, will push the RHODL value ratio up. So as you can see here, we have the ratio at, for example, at this bottom at 91.66, and this can go all the way up to, for example, here 100,000 or even more at 212,000 here at this peak. So here we have it at 161,000. So this is the 200,000 peak here at the top, but we can always even go higher than the peak itself. So as the newly moved coins increase in value due to people buying them at higher price range of Bitcoin, and dividing that by the older 1 to 2 years unmoved coins, which are now less in value, will give us a higher ratio. So the higher on the ratio we are, the more greedy those 1 to 2 years investors tend to get, because now the difference between the 2 years ago price, since they last moved their coins, and against the newly moved price is getting bigger. Thus they are more tempted, getting more greedy in order or to take profits, and that explains why every time this ratio approaches the overheated area, then market tends to, or older investors, whales and shrimps and sharks, tend to dump or take profit on their accumulation. So this is how the RHODL works. So when the RHODL ratio starts to approach the red band, it can signal that the market is overheated. This has historically been a good time for investors to take profit in each cycle. So this indicator helps us detect or around the areas when we are to detect the bottoms and the tops generally around the area. And if you notice now, we are just coming back up from the oversold territories or overbought territories in this area. So yeah, we're very low on the metric and just moving up, just as we were very low here. and we're just moving up. So we still have a long way because currently we are at a ratio of 819. Okay, so 819 here. If we want to compare an 800, that was 800 here. So that was around this area on previous cycles. So from here, that the Bitcoin price was around 7,000, and at the end of the run, we hit a top of, we know, the 69,000 at the very top of this run, but the first leg up was at 63,000. So we're still coming up. We're from the lower areas, and that gives us a lot of room to the upside. Even if we reached half of what we reached here, that means we still have a room to move to the upside. So if we go back to the CBBI index, and you can notice if we only have the RHODL here, so it's only triggering a 2. Yeah, currently it's a 2. It's even a 0, maybe. Yeah, between a 0 and 2. It's that little wick hit a 7 and then came back down to 2 to 2, currently 2. And its effect on the Bitcoin price is dark blue. And as we discussed earlier, this dark blue means we are at the very bottom according to this index alone. So of course, if we add, this was one of the very the lower indexes in comparison to some of the mid to high printing indexes. So this alone will give us a 4. Of course, this is a combination of 9. So we will continue tomorrow with the Puel multiple to add up one more index to our belt. And definitely at the end of the series, we will do a full analysis on all of the indexes and what to see or what to find or what to conclude from them. But again, to recap, this can go all the way up to 74, this index alone, as it did in the last bull run. And before that, yeah, 73 high, and here 74, and the one before it did hit 100, and the one before that as well 100, and it can go sub-zero, as you can see here. So we were sub-zero, as you can see here. So mainly this is the halving. If you notice, here is the halving date on this line, and here is a halving date, and here is a halving date. So technically, if we notice, based on this indicator, the RHODL ratio alone, usually before the halving, we usually tend to be coming all the way up until the halving date. We either dip on halving date or we dip a little bit. Yeah, we tend to go up all the way, and we start dipping just like, for example, here, June 18, we peaked on this indicator, and halving was on, let me try to get this, yeah, July 5. So June, July, that's 1 month before the halving. We tend to have a slight dip in the price and on this indicator. So we still have around a year to go, and we are still coming right up from this very low, even here. So we came from the low, came back down, and like, yeah, we're around this area going up. So it can be choppy, as you can see here, but it's either this run or this run going into the halving, and a month or two before the halving date, we tend to have a little bit of retracement, and this was the COVID crash here and here. But again, we tend to have a retracement 1 month before the halving, only to continue based on history, which is the 4th cycle here, and it has been repeating. So those on chain are just a reflection of raw human numbers based on equations, emotions translated into equations, translated into Bitcoin price. So this is what I like to call it, the naked truth, the unmanipulated, unaltered, naked truth based on humans' emotions, fear and greed. And this is one more focusing on the greed side of the investor, the long-term investor versus the short-term investor. So this is the RHODL ratio. And this is everything for today. If you like the content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and leave me a comment if you would like any more detail on this, or a recommendation to do some sort of other type of videos. So I always read those and will always try to prepare. Anyways, guys, have a safe night, happy holidays again, or morning, wherever you are. Happy holidays again, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.